always sigh after you crack the beer.
It's just...
You crack it and go, ah.
I'm like, yes. Ugh.
Welcome to
Just Your Average Cult Culture. I'm Chad. This is Chris.
The most important Chris.
Today we're going to be talking about 3 movies we wish would be made.
Or just 3 ideas.
Dream movies.
It was, me and Chad were texting the other night, late, just about
like
ideas.
We do.
And because we're friends, believe it or not, we're friends in real life. And I was just like, man, like, I have an idea, like, I want to talk about 3 movies I want to be made, or I want made, and Chad was like, I got 3 I want to talk about, so we decided, let's do it now.
Yeah.
So I start?
You start.
I start. So the number 1 movie I want made...
Wait, start with your 3rd. Build it up to the number.
Okay, so my number 3, the movie that I would love to see made, and I'm sure there's a giant following of people who are all screaming the exact same thing that I want. I want a movie about 40K. Warhammer 40K. I want to see Space Marines fighting Tyranid. Tell it from the point of view of an Imperial Guardsman defending whatever. Because, like, do it from the Fall of Cadia. Nah, don't even do the Fall of Cadia. Do, like, I guess Armageddon, right? And just start with, like, a random guardsman who's sitting there when the fucking Wa shows up. Orcs. What they do is, the way the orcs work is they're bred by spores. So, like, once they're on your planet, you can't get rid of them. And they believe... Their gods, Gork and Mork, are so crazy. They believe the color red makes things go faster. And because they believe it, it's true. Their guns, they'll just take, like, this and attach a bat to it. And then throw this here for a handle. And because they believe it'll shoot, it will shoot.
That's so weird, because I've always thought about that when I was younger. Like, what if you didn't understand something and all of a sudden it just stopped existing because you didn't understand it?
Well, that's what orcs are. And cool. So these orcs invade this planet, and you're just like a regular guardsman. They call their guns flashlights because they just shoot hyper, like a white hot ray of light. And it's just like turning on a flashlight and turning it off. Blink, blink, and you're just blowing holes through things. But, it gets so bad. I think the Tyranids show up, which are like Alien from Alien, but just like on a cosmic scale, where like when they show up, people start having like headaches because the psychic energy they emit like fucks with your brains. And then because the Tyranids show up, Chaos shows up, which they're literal demons. So then the Space Marines get called in, and then the Eldar, who are space elves, show up, and it's just this giant... And just show it from the point of view of a normal person that's like, I don't know what's happening anymore, because like the fabric of reality is being torn apart, and there's magic and missiles and nukes and all sorts of horrible things. I don't care what the story is, just show me a Warhammer plot.
Yeah.
And I would be so... fantasy even. Show me Sigmar's Rise to Power, and I'd be stoked. Because there's so much lore. It's like a comic book. There's so much lore. You can just take any 3 paragraphs from any codex and you'll have an amazing movie. That's my first movie.
What's the short you should plug?
Oh, A Star Days on YouTube. If you know about it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't know about
Just
it,
fucking... I didn't know shit about it.
I just showed it to him.
Badass.
Yeah, it's fucking badass. He doesn't know dick about Warhammer. I gave him a very brief thing. I was just like, just watch these superhumans.
And I'm sitting there like, damn, this sounds like a lot of information.
And I was like, watch these 11-foot tall guys just murder a bunch of regular people. And that's what it was. Just when they have the big red laser and he just pulls the plasma cannon out and you just see it go it's just like, oh wow, they don't stand a chance.
Or things with like the spine things.
Yeah, the guys who could... And I told you how the bolter works, where it like hits, you see like the bullet and then it blows up. Like, like imagine that hits you, goes halfway through your body.
Do they have stuff like that where it has a delay explosion?
They do. They're called bunker busters, and they put some... there's a shotgun, an A12, I think it's called, or a USA, or an AUSA 12, fires like explosive rounds that'll go like an inch in before they blow up.
It's kind of horrifying.
Well, it's used to destroy cover and stuff, but the Space Marines just use it to kill people.
Fuck mobsters.
Right? Dude, a Barrett 50 cal, right? The sniper rifle, and this is going to be off topic, I just want to talk about how cool guns are. So let's say I'm on one side of a mountain, and you're a mile away on another side of a mountain, and I fire my gun. The speed the projectile will reach, I need to be within 6 inches of hitting you to kill you. because the heat and explosion and like force of this thing. So let's say it hits like right here, it's gonna burn and break your skull. If it hits like right here, you're losing that arm.
So they have like a, what's it called, like a,
yeah.
Once it like reaches its target.
Once it's at terminal velocity, it is burning the air around it, and and then when it hits with such a concussive force that it breaks bone.
That's real?
It's a real thing we use. Ugh. Like, you're on the other side of a mountain, you're a Taliban soldier, you stand up to take a stretch, and then it hits you here, and it blows this much of your body up, like just paste. Just
imagine like 10 years from now.
It's gonna be even, and we'll have robots doing it who don't think or feel.
Yeah.
It'll be even worse.
I won't have that emotion.
But anyway, that's my first movie, an extreme over-the-top 40K movie, where it starts with like a dude digging a farm. It ends with him in a trench watching fucking titans fight fucking bloodthirsters and just being like, what is happening? Titans are giant cathedral rope. Everything in 40K is religious themed. Their spaceships are giant cathedrals. Like Gothic, like imagine the Notre Dame times 1 billion with rockets and lasers flying through space.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, spreading the word of the emperor. Donald Trump's the emperor. Donald Trump is the god emperor of mankind.
Donald Trump is the ultimate puppet.
No.
Controlled by the Republican Party, who has little outtakes here and there, and they're like, "Hey,
you're gonna say Trump is a bigger puppet than Obama?
Obama was a huge Democratic puppet.
Obama is shaking hands with Putin, going, "Once I'm out of office, I'll help you more." Who's a bigger puppet?
Anyway,
yeah.
Obviously, we have political.
No, here's my thing. I don't care that much, and you don't care that much. We're just on opposite ends, so it's funny to like debate.
Mine's a comedy movie. Because are we doing comedy, horror, and like action?
I'm just doing genres. This 40K one, I want to be a straight like a Black Hawk Down series of events action drama.
All right, so that'll be your action movie.
A leads to B, B leads to C, C leads to D.
See, this one's gonna be like a kind of comedy. Has to be action because of what's involved in it. It's what happens when a bunch of guys go in the woods, take a bunch of shrooms, and all of a sudden the alien invasion starts.
That's a good idea. I like that.
That would be cool.
That could go action comedy like a Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, but I'm surprised they haven't made something like this. Like,
dude, I guarantee it's been made, but I guarantee it hasn't been made right.
Yeah, this is one of the movies I'm trying to write, but it's not the ones I think could actually be made, so I'm talking about it. Because this is obviously like a huge budget type thing.
Oh yeah, all my movies are $1 billion budget movies. Yeah.
So I'm keeping
the ones I can make.
The poor movies.
Yeah, the ones I can make are mine. I'm not going to tell anyone about
No, but
those.
just imagine like being in the woods with your friends. You're all tripping, and all of a sudden you look over, because this comes from like a real life experience. Like, I was with my friends and they were tripping, and I was
at the desert.
Yeah, and I was just wasted.
Was I there?
I don't think you were there this time. But pretty much we're in the woods. We're walking down the road leading to it, and all of a sudden we see this thing fly in the sky and just goes and separates apart. So in our heads, it looked like 2 ships are flying apart. And then we go into the woods, and there's this giant crater hole in the woods that we didn't even know was there before.
The foxhole?
No, it was in the main desert, right? When you
remember because the young kids moved in and they started digging holes.
But basically, like, when we saw it, it looked like, I was wicked wasted, so I'm like, did you guys see that? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, it looked like a UFO came and split and attacked. So in the movie, it would basically be, that happens, but it's an actual alien invasion. But
like Attack the Block, but
tripping balls.
Tripping balls.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, like, the telepathy, since
the funny thing about telepathy? Yeah.
I might change it to acid, because acid kind of have more of, like, the mind reading thing. So with the tripping, like, they were able to, like, see through the telepathy they use, because they're using, like, a certain part of their brain.
So like the LSD opens up the third eye, and they're able to see. So it's like
that might be me going too far.
It's They Live, but instead of glasses, it's LSD.
Tripping balls, and it's aliens. Well,
They Live as aliens. Venetians, not Martians, right?
Yeah,
they were from Venice. Venus.
But I think that would be a cool movie. It'd be hilarious. Just seeing, like, all the stuff that would happen.
Yeah. I don't want to tear it apart, but it kind of sounds like not John dies at the end, but like...
That was a good movie.
I didn't finish it.
Oh, it was good.
I got to the part where he shows the monster in the back of his trunk, and I was like, I'm not feeling it.
Huh.
I just wasn't into it that night.
I feel like this could be a cool movie, though.
No, it
would be like a
again,
cool summer comedy.
It sounds like something if I was browsing through Netflix and it was, or Amazon or anything, and it was free and I couldn't think of anything to watch, I'd click it.
Like, it's definitely going to be most movies I want to make are probably going to be B movies.
Yeah. Okay. Any other, like, what's the plot? What's the resolution? How does it end? How does it begin?
Basically, it's them. They're tripping. They have to escape the aliens. Then all of a sudden, they're tripping, so the aliens try to take them over, but they know what they're saying and all the stuff. And for some weird reason, they end up eating the aliens.
Okay, so it seems like you got it really well thought out.
I thought of it in the last 20 minutes.
Okay, it's a pretty good idea.
Chris actually thought all his out.
Yeah, I've actually been thinking about these movies for a long time.
I came up with mine in the past, 20 minutes. My phone's over there with all my filming.
Well, okay, I'll say the first one I came up with as soon as you said, tell your weak one, and I was like, oh, okay, and just came up with it on the spot.
Well, my phone has all my real ideas on it.
So. The second movie, should I go to number 2 or number 1? I should go backwards, so number 2. I want to do a comedy as well, but my comedy, I want it to be a dark comedy.
See, I feel like the easy way to get around comedy is to be like, it's an action comedy, it's a dark comedy. Just in case it's not super funny, you could be like, it wasn't meant to be super funny.
No, mine is supposed to be. Did you ever see Death of Stalin?
No.
Death of Stalin is all. It's not historically accurate, but it's historically accurate enough to what happened after Stalin died, because he had such an iron grip on the party of communism that when it collapsed, they were like, wait, not every vote has to be unanimous anymore? Like, there's a scene where they're all plotting against each other, but they're all in the same forest, all about 10 feet away from each other, all, like, looking over their shoulders, being like, and it's just, like, it's fucking brilliant. It's such a dumb comedy. It's kind of like Arrested Development. It has that vibe to it, where it's very awkward and strange conversation, because nobody wants to offend Stalin. It's so good. I would like to do that for Maximilien Robespierre. He started the Reign of Terror during the French Revolution. So the French Revolution happened, and it was the idea of liberty and liberalism and giving the power back to the people.
Was that after Napoleon?
Before.
Right.
The French Revolution, and this is another reason why I'm kind of condemning liberalism as an idea. Not saying, like, liberalism ideals are bad, I just don't like the flag of liberalism. Gay marriage is fine, trannies, whatever, stay away from me, I don't give a shit. But, like, when you start going, we need to give the power to the people turn into a mob, and you wind up with the Reign of Terror, where they're executing thousands of people a day, to the point of where guillotine is no longer effective, so mass drowning becomes the normal. If you're not part of the revolution, we're gonna tie you up and throw you into a lake. Men, women, and children. Thousands of bodies are in the fucking river that runs through Paris.
Wasn't the French, like, all that stuff, like, the worst of the worst?
Mm-hmm. And notice...
That's why it's funny now, everybody, like, French are pussies.
No, dude, French are the most winningest country in history. Next to maybe the Huns. They are the most winningest. They won every battle up until the modern era, basically. They overthrew Rome.
Yeah.
Like, they were the shit. Anyway, so Maximilian, it's going to take place in the Tuileries Palace. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Which is, or is it the Hotel de Ville? But anyway, it's so, when the French people finally had enough of the mass executions, and he started this whole new religion that the people would have to follow, and he tried to make a new calendar and new days and new year. So he went off the wall, and finally the people were like, okay, we should stop beheading our neighbors and behead that fucker. So they wind up besieging him in the palace, right? And it's him and, like, his most staunch followers. Nobody knows what happened inside the building. But when they storm it, there's a man who's normally in a wheelchair at the bottom of a staircase, lying in a bloodied and crippled...
So this is a comedy?
Yeah.
Alright.
But how did he get to the bottom of the staircase?
So is it going to be a clue?
No, it's gonna be everything. The first half of the movie is going to be everything up until the peasants storming the door, and then the second half is going to be his execution.
I think it would be a better movie if it was Clue.
But there's no mystery to it.
That could be a mystery.
What's the mystery?
You said nobody knows what's happening inside.
Exactly, but that's where the comedy lies in. Because they throw the old man down the stairs, or they're all going, all right, we're gonna kill ourselves, and he's like, fuck that. And he tries to go down the stairs and dies.
So it's gonna be like an airplane type comedy.
Yeah, it's gonna be a very like Naked Gun kind of comedy.
All right.
Do you know how Maximilian Robespierre dies? He climbs out a window and he goes to jump to freedom, and there happened to be an open sewer. And he fell in the open sewer and broke both of his legs and laid there for 24 hours covered in shit, screaming in pain until someone found him.
So that's not fair. I was going to guess that, but you didn't let me guess.
They found him, and when they found him, he tried to kill himself and tried to shoot himself in the head with a pistol. But all he did was blow off his lower jaw. So now he's covered in shit with broken legs and his jaw hanging off. So they take a handkerchief and they tie his jaw together, and then he's laying there for another 24 hours moaning in pain while they vote on whether or not to kill him, because it's a democracy and it's liberal and
so I can see this being a very, what's that?
Dark comedy.
What the fuck is it? The Holy Grail.
So after like the 5th or 6th vote, they decide to behead him. And so they take him to the guillotine, and the executioner goes, the handkerchief around his head will interfere with the beheading process. So they go, okay, and just rip it off his head. His jaw falls down. He screams in pain. Boom! Death of Maximilian Robespierre. I think they could make a really funny comedy out of that.
I feel like that would be something like Daniel Radcliffe would be in.
It would be horror. I saw it as a Seth Rogen kind of thing.
No. It would have to be like a very British...
I saw Judd Apatow directing it. I know I don't want it to, but I could totally see.
I'm not saying he's not that good. He's not that
dark.
Yeah.
Simon Pegg maybe could help me out. Simon Pegg loves to do horror comedy.
Yeah.
The Fantastic Fear of Everything. Did you ever see that?
I saw and watched it.
Oh, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. So what's your second?
All right. So I like the whole apocalypse theme. I like to see how people would react towards that. I also really like religious movies, but a lot of religious movies tend to just fail. Like that fucking movie with the guy who plays Legion. You ever see Legion? It was really bad.
I saw Book of Eli. That was dumb as shit.
Yeah. No, Legion was that there were actual angels and stuff, but then they come down. One of them has like they have like guns and shit, and it's like that's stupid. So I want like a post-apocalyptic movie.
Are you talking about that episode of American Dad?
I don't know.
Where the rapture happens, and like it's Mad Max but with angels and demons.
Damn it! They already did that.
They did it, but American Dad style. So it's jokey. But if you want to do like a real one,
I feel like they made a lot of post-apocalyptic movies. They made a lot of religion movies. Why not fuse them and make a cool post-apocalyptic? What happens after the rapture of all people?
Isn't there a one called Left Behind with Nicolas Cage?
That's not the same.
It's exactly what you said. People.
Yeah, but it's not like people don't go into chaos like Mad Max.
Yeah, the American Dad one is the rapture happens and basically no one gets to go up. So like Stan like winds up becoming like a badass like Mad Max character, and like Jesus is like, I need your help, Stan, and he has like a crossbow that shoots like sharpened crosses into demons and stuff, and Michael has a flaming sword and he's a badass. Yeah, dude, I always think about this all the time. Like the reason I give Christianity like if I had to pick a religion, I'd go Christian. It's because their end game is so cool. The earth rips open, demons spew forth, angels with golden armor and flaming swords come
Definitely
down.
the most exciting.
It would be the one where it's like, if I die, it's cool. Yeah, this is so intense.
No, but imagine like a real totally serious horror post-apocalyptic movie.
The Christian apocalypse is Warhammer 40k.
Wait, what was the actual... Fuck, I'm retarded. What was the actual book called? Was it Revelations?
Yeah, Book of Revelations.
Yeah. Imagine if that happened and all of a sudden like it's just everybody left and they had to fend for themselves and you had demons roaming the earth and everything.
But angels were also there fucking fighting and helping, and it's like, Angel, I want to be a conscript. I love God. And then you go and fight demons.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool.
I feel like that would be more of a cool miniseries.
And the best part is, they wrote it for back in the day when people were using like Iron Age weapons. Can you imagine if demons showed up and we had like tanks?
Yeah.
And like helicopters, the demons would be like, wow, that's way different than we remember.
Yeah, but imagine how cool it would be if like you shoot like a fucking missile out of a tank and the demon just goes crush and
right, and he blows it up, and then there's like 10 more tanks that shoot him, and because we have numbers.
I know. That would be such a cool... I feel like that would be a really cool movie.
Like, the Russian MiG is getting chased by, like, an undead dragon, and the
like,
American F-22 bails him out, and they kind of, like...
Like, it's kind of awful when movies take themselves too seriously, but I feel like this movie would need to take itself super serious, so it would be, like, really funny and awesome.
I just want... I like the idea of, like, having, like, a Russian soldier, like, about to get killed by, like, a demon, and then, like, a fucking Ukrainian soldier blows the demon's head off, and it's like, you know what, we're both human, let's...
Yeah, like the fucking thing from, like, Predator or whatever, they're just like, yeah...
I want the team up moment where it's like the Central African guy meets like the rival warlord, and they're both like, we gotta kill these demons together. It's Independence Day kind of, but not as fucking schmaltzy.
Yeah,
I
still haven't seen Resurgence though.
The one good scene is when the white male lead pulls his dick out and pees in front of the aliens, and he's like, "What the fuck are you gonna do about this?"
Really?
It's the only good scene.
Is that real?
Yeah, he's like, I'm peeing on your spaceship. And the aliens, you see them being like mad, and he's like, what are you gonna do? I'm still peeing. That's a real scene. I hated everything, but when I saw that scene, I was like, you know.
That's awful.
I like that.
No, I feel like that would be a cool movie. Like, we need more movies like that. And less movies like Legion where they're just like, they come back and they have guns just shooting each other, and I'm like, no.
Did you see Reign of Fire?
I don't remember it, but
The dragons?
Yeah, they had Christian Bale and stuff in it.
That movie sucked, but it had a lot of cool concepts, and I feel that's... Replace dragons with demons for your movie, and that's kind of what I feel like you're going for.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I liked Reign of Fire. I saw it when I was a kid. I thoroughly enjoyed how stupid it was, or how cool the action was. I saw it as an adult, and I was like...
Was McConaughey in that?
Dude, I don't fucking remember.
Sure.
I just remember seeing it twice, once as a kid, once as an adult. And as a kid, I was like, this is the coolest thing ever, dragons and violence. And then as an adult, I was like, this is the dumbest thing ever, dragons and
I
violence.
just remember the dragons look kind of bad.
I remember the dude takes the axe and he jumps in the mouth of the giant dragon, and it was like, what was the point of that? Because nothing came of it.
What's the point of the episode where Chad has to pee?
Yeah, we're at that point, so we should probably... What are you gonna do?
So what is your number one movie you want to see?
The number one movie I would love to see is a historical drama, action. It could be all in one if you think about it. And basically, I want it to be about Publius Decius. He was like I guess the best way would be like a lieutenant. I don't know what the proper term is, in the Roman Legion. And it was during the First Samnite War. And this is before Rome was an empire, before it was a kingdom. It was just the city of Rome. And it had some trade deals with the Huguenots and the Latins and the Capuans and the Companions. But these Samnites up in the northern hills just fucking hated Rome. So they would go to war constantly, back and forth. And Marcus Valerius Corvus decides, I'm going to end this. And he decides to lead a couple legions, which is thousands of soldiers. Keep in mind, this is in the BCs. Up into the hills to just fucking annihilate the Samnites. However, Valerius Corvus isn't all that intelligent. And he fucking marches his dudes into a valley, and the Samnites just line the hills and the mountaintops with archers and projectile throwers, and just start raining death. Now, the Romans were still using the phalanx system, so they were able to do the Tetsudo and be super safe. And so they're just getting pelted and pelted and pelted. And eventually, Publius Decius sees an opening, and he notices one of the hills just isn't that well defended. And he goes, I'm going to charge it, but I'm not going to order anyone to come with me. So 1,600, give or take, soldiers go, we're going to come with you. And they fucking sprint up this hill, murder everyone on the hill, and then just start throwing arrows and javelins at the people on the tip of the crest. So they just take all the fire onto themselves. The Roman legion escapes and sets up camp, leaving those 1,600 men behind.
So like 300 kind of boats.
They stand together, they fucking shell up, and they hold their ground until night. The Samnites go back to their camp. They decide they're going to sneak through their camp. Because, like, the obvious thing would be just to wait for reinforcements. We have the defensive position. We're on the high ground. They go, you know what, fuck it. We're going to try and sneak back home. They're sneaking through the camp. And according to legend, one guy drops his shield on a sleeping Samnite. and Publius Decius stabs that guy that was sleeping in the head and screams, "Kill anything that moves." So the entire 1,600 people break into a full sprint through the Samnite camp, just killing anything that gets in front of them. They make it back to the Roman lines. Publius Decius turns around, counts his men, didn't lose a single one. So fucking Corvus wakes up and he's like, "Time for a speech. You guys are amazing." And he goes, "No, sir. The Samnites are in disarray. We need to turn around and march right back, right fucking now." And so the general goes, "Okay." And they turn around and they march back, and the camp is on fire. It's burning, and they just wipe the Samnites out and push the Samnites all the way to their borders and sue for peace. It's probably like the coolest thing to happen in military history ever, if you think about it. These 1,600 dudes fighting an army of close to 1 million sneak through their camp.
Who would you want to direct that?
Oh man, see, most people would go Nolan, and it would be too gritty and boring, like Dunkirk. Some people would say Spielberg. Then you get Schindler's List, where they try to add like emotion to it.
Would you want Snyder for the action?
Snyder directed 300, though. I do want it to be over stylized.
I feel like Snyder should just be in charge of like the what's it called, direction of photography and all that.
DP, director of photography.
He should just do that. Then they should have a guy above him like directing the scenes.
I don't want J.J. Abrams touching it.
No.
J.J. Abrams would shake the camera and have lens flare coming from every direction.
Imagine like a Sam Raimi war film.
With the quick cuts. That's actually what I want for my action, is the quick cut.
That'd be cool.
Like the shield drops, cut to Decius's eyes, sword in the head, run! And then, you know, like that would be so cool.
I would say I'm gonna make more movies.
He's
like producing a lot now, though.
He did what he needed to do. He made the Evil Dead series. The second Spider-Man movie is amazing.
Then he fucking made like, what was it? Not Alice in Wonderland.
No, that was...
He made the Wizard of Oz movie.
That was Raimi?
Yeah.
The second...
Yep.
Alice the Great and Powerful was Raimi?
Mm-hmm. You wanted that paycheck, bro.
Okay. Respect it. You gotta respect it.
Yeah.
Dude wanted a
Everybody
paycheck.
needs money.
Everybody needs money. I love how we excuse the directors we like, but we shit on them.
No, there's a difference. When a director just constantly makes shit movies and makes that one shit movie that's like...
What's his name? Who's the guy who made Independence Day? He made Midway. That came out recently.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like on the tip of my tongue.
I know.
Roman Camp or
Roman, not Polanski. He raped the kid.
It doesn't matter what his name is. Do you have anything else to add to your movie?
Roland Emmerich.
Roland Emmerich.
Yeah. There it is. Yeah, fuck that guy. He makes
I love
bad movies.
Independence Day.
That movie sucks. And I'm borrowing from Red Letter Media, but every character has a case of the not gays. Which is every character announces, "I'm heterosexual."
You know what's funny? If you watch The Force Awakens, Poe definitely has super gay tendencies when he finds Poe and everything.
Oh, Poe has super gay tendencies when he meets Poe?
Yeah.
No, alright. Yeah, that would be cool if Star Wars had an organic gay relationship.
Like, I feel like the way they did it in The Force Awakens, it was like Poe was like the one that's like, "Yeah, you're my bro." And very close, and then Finn was kind of like, "Yeah, oh." So maybe like he like slowly transitions into it. But I feel like the way they would do it is the next movie.
What you're saying is gay people convert you when they're actively seeking to convert you.
Finn was a stormtrooper, so he doesn't know what he was.
Wait, Finn now? Because you said Poe was trying to seduce Poe.
No, Finn... Poe was trying to seduce Finn.
Poe, the rebel, was trying to seduce the stormtrooper Finn.
Yeah, and Finn was a stormtrooper, so he didn't know what he was. He was just raised from birth to be this thing.
Birth?
Do you have anything else to add to your movie, asshole?
I mean, but besides them returning for a triumph, do you know the word triumph comes from Rome?
Does it?
Yeah, and it's whenever you have a great victory on the battlefield. What? Everyone shows up, and the hero rides a white horse through the center of Rome, and everyone throws rose petals and cheers. Dude, Rome was so...
This is so, like, cinematic.
It is. Everything Rome did was, like... Because they were, So there's a theory going around. There's two types of civilization. There's a warlike civilization that finds religion, and a religious-like civilization that finds war. Where a warlike civilization and I might have this backwards, don't quote me on this, a warlike civilization that finds religion gets rooted in tradition, law, and procedure, where for Rome wasn't allowed to declare war. They could only have war declared on them. But the way they would declare war is it was a ceremony to walk to the border between your nation and theirs and hurl a spear over the border. And if the spear was thrown back, war was on.
That's cool.
Yeah, and also they had this palace where this temple where the doors would stay open during times of war and shut during times of peace. So they were, you know what I mean? Like their society is weird. Whereas you have ISIS, where they just read the Bible and go, well, we got to kill you for this, 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 and this.
Well, I feel like it was more of there's honor in war, and then there's just like chaos
the
and
main reason
douchiness.
The main reason Rome lasted as long as it did is even though Rome was sacked 3 times, they didn't quit. They refused to quit. You want to know why? Because law and God is on our side, and God damn it, we're gonna make you listen to us. They were like, dude, they would show up to Germanic tribes. There's a famous story where the Caesar is sieging this Germanic village. I think it's Vercingetorix's. And Vercingetorix, isn't that a crazy... Names are so much better like that. So he shows up, and they have their fortified city, and this is told from the point of a Germanic barbarian. And he's writing in his diary like, dude, these tiny fucking people showed up, and they have shitty armor and small swords and small... Because Italian people were all short, you know? And these tall Aryan German guys are just like laughing at them from behind the walls. They're like, fuck this, man. They didn't even try and siege the first day. They're just building camps. The second day, oh, their camp looks pretty good, but they're not going to get in our walls. Third day, oh my god, they built trebuchets and ballistas, and they're raining hell on us. We're surrendering now. You know, like that's how Rome would do. They would show up, build a city around your city, and then just go, you want to do something about it? And then you're like, no. And they go, okay, we're going to do something about it. And they would build crazy siege weapons and just bombard your city until you quit. And they go, okay, you give up, give us your leader. They'd strip him naked, bring him before the Roman general, and behead him. Everyone else is either thrown into slavery and conscripted into the army. But, hey, we humiliated the fuck out of you. You want to rise up again? Go for it.
I think we'll never have times like that again.
We never will.
Roman... that dude got fucking banished or whatever because he pissed on like an ISIS guy.
Yeah, dude, I'm so glad. He killed a murderer and people got mad at him because he took photos and peed on the corpse.
Like if you like kill a child murderer,
you should get a slap on the wrist. Like
I feel like that's something like I would do.
But all right, look, you did kill a guy, so stop it. But you killed him. You killed a child molester.
I have no sympathy for molesters, child molesters, or diddlers, or any of that.
Like I'm not mad at you.
I hate you. My movie.
Sorry, we got on to Rome, and I love Rome.
I'm about to talk about could make
Marcus Aurelius is the best.
$500 million.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. It's gonna be the next super sci-fi action franchise.
Wait. Is it gonna break new ground?
Maybe.
Is it cutting edge?
Maybe.
Is it a tour de force?
It might be something that's been looked upon on old movies, but just does it the best.
Chad, are you trying to remake Triumph of the Will?
I'm talking about Spider-Man versus Daredevil.
You didn't... Okay.
Just kidding. I'm going with my other movie.
I was going to say, you didn't get my Triumph of the Will joke.
No, it's going to be...
First film directed by a female is a Nazi propaganda film called Triumph of the Will.
Anyway. My movie is about...
Sorry.
If you haven't known, this show is filmed after the podcast. Me and Christopher
we just
have
get
6 beers. But it's basically about a group of people going to colonize, say, a planet like Titan. Like a planet that's pretty much like just like Earth.
Titan is not just like Earth.
I don't know, man. I don't
Titan
know
is it's an ice planet, and they think there's an ocean with life underneath it because the core, there's nothing between the water and the core, so the core is heating the water, allowing life to grow. But then it has the ice thing around it that keeps Jupiter's radiation away.
Yeah, I'm gonna rephrase this. We're going to colonize a planet that is similar to Earth. So there's about 100 people on the ship going there.
Okay.
Halfway through the ship, things go awry.
Halfway through the ship.
Halfway through the travel.
The trip. That's what you meant to say. I'm just helping. Halfway through the ship in the dead tunnel.
Things go awry when a group...
Array? Like a sensor array?
What would you say?
Awry?
Awry. Shut up. I don't know this talk. They know what I'm saying.
No, they don't.
Things go awry when a group of planted saboteurs are on the ship to sabotage.
No, I'm kidding. At this point, keep
Sabotage the whole trip. So the movie is half the ship is the saboteurs, and half the ship is the actual people trying to do it. So it's a mid-flight to the planet battle movie aboard the ship. Aliens.
I'm not trying to shit on your idea, but it
It
reminds
was a lot better when we talked about it before.
Well, it was because I was saying things. No, I'm kidding. It reminds me of an episode of Voyager, where it's like an alternate timeline of Voyager, where the Maquis and the Federation didn't get along on the Voyager, so you have like Chakotay leading a revolution against Janeway. You have no idea what I'm talking about, but it's fine. But yeah, like, I liked that episode. I thought it was cool. Like, the command deck was like Janeway's crew, and like the cargo area was Chakotay's crew, and the rest of the ship was just a room-to-room battle constantly. So like, we need to get to astrometrics. That's Maquis territory, and everyone's like, let's lock and load. You know, like.
See, I feel like the movie I'm talking about would be like Snowpiercer, but on a spaceship to another planet.
Yeah, Snowpiercer though is a class struggle system.
Yeah.
So, which is also kind of like a Bioshocky kind of feel to it.
I love that movie. I don't care what you say.
I like Snowpiercer. It's dumb. That's why I like it. When they're on the tracks and they're like, look, that lady died because she left the train. And then the train goes by and you're like, oh, okay. They show polar bears running around.
Super weird classroom with all the kids just brainwashed.
Is that any different than nowadays? Oh, really?
No, I feel like this would be a cool movie. A cool action cheese movie.
I want a movie made about Rome that doesn't portray Rome as the bad guys. I hate that. Do you remember when Trump got elected and all those parents of 8-year-olds were tweeting out, oh my god, my first grader just came home and said Donald Trump is just like Julius Caesar? I remember reading those tweets and going, oh my god, if only. You know, like, if only he was Julius Caesar.
Was Caesar that bad of a guy?
No.
Or was it the people that turned on the
Most of Julius Caesar's history is written by Cato. And who is Cato? An amazing orator. I will not sit down here and say Cato is bullshit. Cato is fucking awesome. He's super smart, super intelligent, incredibly well spoken. Also, one of the richest landowners in Rome. So when Julius Caesar crosses the Rubicon and decides to fight for the people and redistribute land, guess who gets super angry? Cato.
So he jaded his whole history and everything?
Basically, by the time Caesar overthrew the Republic was the 100 richest men in Rome, and they were only passing laws to keep them rich. Julius Caesar started off as a lawyer, and he refused to take patrician cases. He would only take plebeian cases. In other words, he would take poor people's cases. And he would use his great oration skills to talk senators into siding with the people. So he had the people on his back from the get-go.
Is it like Matt Murdock?
I mean, if you want to, if you want to take it to that. But also, another thing about Caesar was he wasn't particularly a good general. He was a very lucky. And if you talk to anyone who's ever been to war, they are like, I'd rather be lucky than skilled.
Yeah.
Because a lucky guy gets out of the war, the skilled guy doesn't, you know? So Julius Caesar was just a super skilled general, lucky general, who fucked up a bunch of Germanic tribes, basically crushed the Gauls, came back to Rome. Rome went, "You're a dictator," and he went, "Look, I don't want the crown. I just want to fix everything." Because dictator actually comes from... Should I start? I just realized what I'm about to do is give an incredibly long lecture on Roman history. I don't want to do that.
We can also cut it out and make it another video.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm sorry, I was just about to give you the history of dictatorship.
If you want to hear about the history of dictatorship, tune into the next episode of Just Your Average Podcast.
Yeah. Also, I'm probably wrong on a lot of things because I'm drunk, so feel free to light me up. I can take it.
But this is a bonus topic we were going to talk about. Just like the most ridiculous... What was that company?
Canon?
No, you said it was another one.
Oh, Asylum. Oh, yeah. If we had to make an Asylum film, if you don't know what Asylum is, they made Atlantic Rim, they made Sharknado. Anytime, Transmorphers, anytime a film...
popular movie comes out and
anytime
they
a film
bank off the names. And
is busting the box office. The
Revengers.
Revenge. There was another one that has like 30 titles in one. It's like Zach and Miri make a porno, but she got knocked up, so he felt super bad about it, or something like that.
I think that was it.
Yeah, that's one of them.
What would your movie be for that?
My Asylum film.
Want me to go first?
Yeah, if you got one thought out.
Alright. Mine would be a real... you know how they made Rampage? And it was really kind of bad, but it was a super cheesy topic.
Yeah,
to make a movie
fucking
about.
Lenny gets killed.
Mine would be the real life Hungry Hippos. Where the hippos just go insane. They're super hungry.
Like African hippos start eating
the fucking
people
most vicious
in
animals
mass.
in the world.
They kill more people in Africa than anything else.
So they just decide, fuck everything, we're starving, and they just go around eating everything.
Because of global warming.
Yeah, you gotta put global warming in there.
Yep, global warming.
They're getting hot, they're getting fester.
Oh, and there's a hot little scientist lady, right? And she's like, "We gotta save the hippos."
And it's definitely not Tara Reid.
Okay, who would it be? Hot dumb bitch. Megan Fox. Nah, she's
No,
fine.
Megan-
She has kids now. She wouldn't do this.
Oh, yeah, she would.
No, she has like kids and a family. She's like done.
Really?
She's one of the ones that got out.
Lucky her.
I know, right? It would be like Alyssa Milan. Alyssa Milano?
Moana.
Yeah, it'd be Alyssa Milano, right? Because she's all about like environmentalism, and she'd be like on a pontoon raft, like
No,
yeah.
that wouldn't even be Melissa Milano. It would be that fucking other girl from Charmed. The new one.
I haven't seen the new Charmed, and I'm kind of ashamed to admit that I've seen the old Charmed.
I've seen both.
Mama used to watch Charmed, and
What the hell's her name? The lady from... She was in the Planet Terror movie. She had the gun leg.
Alyssa Milano.
No.
Anyway, she's in a raft, and she's like, "Guys, the polar ice caps are melting, or whatever.
It's not their fault. They're just enraged.
Listen, they're just really hungry, hip," and then one eats her. You know, like, coming this summer.
I feel like this movie needs to be made.
We could call it H3. Hungry hippos.
I feel like this...
Keep your white balls in check, or whatever, you know what I mean? Because it's little white orbs.
I feel like this would be their biggest seller. It would beat Sharknado.
Brought to you by Hasbro Films. Stay tuned for Monopoly.
Ugh, it's just fucking one rich guy taking over everybody's...
Fuck you! I would watch that movie. Sir, that family's gonna be homeless. I don't fucking care.
It's really just a full mafia movie.
Not even a full mafia, just one dude who like buys property, gets rich, and then he buys more, and they're like, "Dude, you're making the neighborhood shitty," and he's like, "So?"
Hotels.
Yeah, just build it. What
like,
about?
I'll make you a deal. I'll roll this dice.
Not even I'll make you a deal. Not even I'll make you a deal. He's like, I just passed go. And they're like, what? And he goes, you know what that means, right? And it's like a poor black family, and they're like, we don't know, miss. And he's like, it means a hotel. The fuck out of my neighborhood. The hotel falls, and like they're like, oh no, and they like walk off into the desert.
You made fun of my fucking T.I.
No, but I want this Monopoly movie to be like racist as fuck. Like he goes to San Francisco, and there's like a fresh off the boat Asian community, and he's like, nah, hotels, motherfucker. He's It's like some evil dictator just building hotels across America, destroying minority communities.
That'd be hilarious.
And he's just like in the Monopoly bed.
Is that your movie?
No, but I want to make that now.
What's your movie?
I don't know. I guess like so like this hot scientist lady figures out a machine that can record people's darkest fantasies, sexually minded whatsoever, and the machine malfunctions and it turns people into like rapists, but it's like softcore rape, so like boob grabbing and butt grabbing, and
It's a lot of dry humping.
yeah, it's like sexy zombies. And she winds up figuring out the way to cure the zombies is to inject herself. Like she gets bit, so she injects herself with this serum, right? And this is like Jessica Nigiri or what I mean, like some random dumb whore. And she injects herself with like the cure because she got bit, but it turns out like her bodily fluids can cure other people. So she goes around fucking zombies for 90 minutes, but it's like softcore. There's my asylum film. We can get Dolph Lundgren in. We can get fucking Jessica Nigri, fucking
Mike Turney.
Carmen Electra will make an appearance.
Fucking Pam Anderson as a super zombie.
Yeah, Alexis Texas, Sasha Grey.
Alexis Texas.
Yeah, you don't know your porn. Sasha Grey can show up. What's that guy's name? Rocco Siffredi or whatever, the guy who got like banned from porn because he took his extreme porn to an extreme porn where he was like drowning chicks till they were unconscious and then fucking them. There's a documentary about him. It's pretty cool.
Anyway, thanks for watching Just Your Average Cult Culture.
That's my asylum film. Is a weird rapey zombie movie.
I'm Chad. This is Chris. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified. And
welcome to Just Your Average Podcast. I'm Chris. That's Chad. He's other Chris.
Bye, friends.
This is what I write about.
A lot of poop jokes.
No. That wasn't horrible.
I thought it was fun.
I hope someone makes my Roman movie. That'd be cool.